We continue with Tigers Roar. Great job you and Alex did. That guy's good, man.
He's great, and I'm the one guard. He's the two guard. I just assisted off to him, and I'm sorry to say that the Final Four picks are just wrong. Y'all just have to pay him. I mean, you're going with the Spartans. I have a lot of Spartan pride as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to go off and say they're going to win the national championship, but the one thing I like about Michigan State, I think a lot of college programs need to take from this. I always speak about LSU softball. They play tough teams early. They started off the year playing North Carolina and Duke, and look at where they are now. They have a 1 seed. They're battle tested. Nobody thought Michigan State was going to be that good this year. And also, another thing about Michigan State that I just love, and I wish a lot of other college programs would pick up on this. Notice how the former players from Michigan State, they always come back in the Letterman jackets. They cheer their tail off. You're going to see Magic Johnson. You're going to see Mateen Cleaves. You're going to see Morris Peterson. You're going to see Jason Richardson. You're going to see Zach Randolph cheer their tails off on Twitter at the actual games. That's what I like about Michigan State. It's a tradition. It's a program. It's like a high school type of environment around there. That's what I like about the Spartans. And another thing, it's like what a Spartan truly is. They always fight to the bitter end. I think Michigan State has the talent to go to the Final Four this year.
Well, Michigan State, I think they got on the world's map with Irvin Johnson back in the late 70s.
The Larry Bird rivalry.
Coach Judd Heathcote. And, certainly that's when I was, really beginning to follow all that stuff. And I can tell you a cool story about Irvin Johnson and Pete Maravich. I can tie it to LSU. I was lucky enough to get to know Pete Maravich the last couple of years of his life. I was running the recreation department in the city of Covington. He lived in Covington. He coached in my youth basketball league. So I got to be around Pete. I was lucky to get around Pete a whole lot. Now, in that time in Pete's life, in fact, he passed away a couple of days before we were having the opening of the Biddy basketball season, and we had to postpone because of that. But he didn't like to talk about a whole lot of basketball then, at that time in his life. Now and then he would. And one time he was talking to me, and he said, when he came out of college, and he was dribbling the ball between his legs and behind his back, and he was throwing passes behind his back, and he was, being a flashy showboat, if you will, and everybody called him a hot dog. They said he was a show-off, and he was, it wasn't any good. He goes, well, 10 years later, Irvin Johnson did all the same things, and they called it magic. And he always said, I was a little bit ahead of my time. And those of you old-time LSU fans, 44.2 a night, the whole drill there with Pete Maravich. We know the story, the points per game, the career points, the no three-point line. We all know that, but he said 10 years later, when a kid named Irvin Johnson did it, they called him magic, and he was like put down. I mean, I can remember, Carter, I was playing youth basketball, high school basketball. Guys would get taken out of the game if they dribbled behind their back, even if it was a successful maneuver, because it was thought to be showboating or hot dogging. But anyway, a little side story there. Michigan State tied it to LSU and Pete Maravich. We got a whole nother hour here. Normally at this time we speak to Brian Lazar of TigerBait.com. Brian is covering the LSU baseball game, which through 7 innings, LSU leads 12-0. They're pounding Northwestern State unless the bullpen really leaks oil. They'll cruise to a victory tonight, getting ready for conference play, and we'll tell you more about LSU baseball when we have our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. Back to the college basketball stuff, Carter. You and Alex did a great job. And I'm not going to go through my whole bracket, but I do have Michigan State beating Florida State in the title game in New Orleans on April 2. I got Florida State and Kansas meeting in the semifinals. I got Kentucky and Michigan State on the other side. Michigan State was not even ranked in the preseason poll, if I remember correctly. They were down in the bottom where it says others receiving votes or something.
Exactly, yes.
But here they are, playing well right now. And, Columbus took a chance when he sailed west. I'm taking a chance. I'm saying it's Michigan State over Florida State in New Orleans. All our good friends in New Orleans, many of you will be at the game, and many of you will be watching it. And, of course, we'll talk about it the Wednesday after.
And I'm fortunate enough I got to figure out I'm going to be able to attend the Final Four this year. I can't wait. It's going to be a great experience.
Have you ever been to one before?
I've never been to a Final Four before, and it's in my favorite city in the world, New Orleans, Louisiana. It's going to be great. Now, hopefully you get some traditional power, some stuff that's really going to bring a lot of fans there. Because, Tommy, I'm going to tell you this right now. If schools like North Carolina, Kentucky, Michigan State, and a school, let's say, like Syracuse, if all 4 number ones, you're going to see such a festooned room of colors. You see orange, blue, green, because New Orleans is going to be packed. It's going to be live. It's going to be raucous, and I cannot wait to see the scene in New Orleans, because these college basketball fans, those Kentucky fans, I've never seen a group of basketball fans travel like that. I want to see what Syracuse and a school like North Carolina or a school like Kansas is able to do if they get the opportunity to come to one of the most culturally diverse cities in the world.
Well, and New Orleans is certainly a huge attraction to fans for whatever teams make the Final Four. They'll be loading up into the city, and that's great for all the businesses in the city of New Orleans. It's great for all our radio and TV talk shows or whatever, and we'll have a handle on it both on Pelican Sports Radio and Pelican Sports TV going forward. Carter, let's talk LSU basketball. They're not in the NCAA tournament. They're nowhere in the bracket. However, well, the ladies are. We'll talk about that in a minute. However, the men did receive a bid to the National Invitational Tournament, the NIT, or the Not Interesting Tournament, as it's dubbed by some. And LSU made the long trip out to Eugene, Oregon, to take on the Oregon Ducks. Got it handed to them, 96-76. LSU led very early in the game. And then had a little bit of a burst in the midway through the second half, but didn't have enough. Too many turnovers, too much inconsistent shooting, and Oregon puts an end to the LSU basketball season. LSU finishes 18-15.
Yeah, and Singler, Sim, Joseph, they were just too much for LSU yesterday. But when you look at this season, I went to Trent Johnson's press conference. He seemed enthusiastic about this offseason. He was honest about what players really need to step up. He said Ralston Turner, Andre Stringer need to get better. He also mentioned Malik Morgan, like I said earlier in the show, and that's something that Alex and I talked about. LSU needs some consistent production from that two position because they didn't really get it from Stringer and Turner like they expected to this year. And he also said that Justin Hamilton, if he gets bigger and stronger, he can be such a dominant 7-footer that he has potential to really be in the contention for the best players going into the NBA draft. And Johnny O'Brien, he said that Johnny's going to get in better condition and is going to have to take better care of the basketball. They have spring break. After spring break, they're going to really start hitting it hard in the weight room, and we'll see what LSU, if they can get better as a team overall.
Well, when we're taking a look at some of the highlights from last Thursday when they beat Arkansas in the SEC tournament down in the New Orleans Arena, played very well the next day against Kentucky. The team that played them two games really didn't show up in Oregon. You could say, short notice, had to travel, more than halfway across the country. They didn't arrive back in Baton Rouge till like 4 o'clock in the morning this morning. Probably loaded up shortly after the game and had to probably had a connecting flight to get back in here. But they got beat 96-76. It was still an experience. And as you're going to see in a moment, Coach Trent Johnson made the comment that it might be good for the team to end like that to give them a little more motivation. Now, here's some comments from Coach Trent Johnson. Now, keep in mind, they got in at 4 o'clock this morning. Tip of the hat to him for going out and meeting the media today for the season-ending deal. You were on hand. We'll let you talk about it more now. But here's some statements from Coach Trent Johnson on the season and finishing it up, 18-15. Take a look.
We ran into a buzzsaw. For whatever reason, our ability to defend sort of disappeared in about a 10-minute stretch, and we were never able to recover. We shot the ball well at times. We scored, but Oregon was clearly better, had more energy, and we just couldn't get them stopped. So, one of the things I addressed to the team immediately afterwards was it's disappointing for the seniors. Obviously, you want them to go out on a better note than that, play better individually and collectively as a group. But don't lose sight of what this group has accomplished up to about 3 weeks ago. It's there's some positives and there's some negatives, but I tend to dwell with the positives. And the positives are we were 17-10, 7-6, and had everything in front of us. And the negative is we didn't get it done, but that's a positive in the sense that they need to have that taste in their mouth going into the spring, going into the summer, and individually and collectively for the returners. And the veterans made sure they understood that sooner than later, they're going to be very, very proud of Storm. And I'm talking about Chris, I'm talking about Malcolm, I'm talking about how unselfish and the guidance they have for these younger guys moving forward with this basketball program. So that was last night. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but it is what it is. And moving forward, we're going to have to change our banquet date. We were scheduled to have a banquet on March 26th. We'll have to change it to April 5th because of certain commitments I have from a recruiting standpoint and then some personal things I have on the docket. And then I want to say immediately after the championship game, we will start weights and we will start individual workouts, 3 40-minute sessions, and get ready for next year. Kids have spring break, as you well know, April 9th through the 13th. And they've been advised just to make sure they take care of their academics, make sure they take care of each other, and just to keep grinding. One of the things that I'm always leery of once the season's over is that's when you see a lot of guys in athletics, I shouldn't say guys, athletes, period. Spring break, you start to see, bulletin board material in terms of, not taking care of your business socially. And for the most part, we've been pretty good in that regard. We haven't had a bunch of our guys have problems. So, but I'm always worried about that. So that's pretty much it. I'll entertain.
Coach Johnson, you were there today. He obviously been flying all night long, flew out there, coached the game, flew back. He was probably not 100%, but pros play hurt, as we know, and I give him credit for meeting with the media and expressing his comments, and he sounds like a man who knows there's a lot of work to be done. And there is. This was a better basketball team this year than the previous season, but there's still work to be done.
All right, and Trent knows the pressure is really on for next season. You have Justin Hamilton, the best big man LSU's had in a pretty long time as a 7-footer. He's going to come back next year as a senior. You have Anthony Hickey and Johnny O'Brien, who, not over-exaggerating, they both can be first-team All-SEC type of talents next year, depending on who's going to end up going to Kentucky and who stays there. Going into next year, there's going to be a ton of pressure, and this team has the talent to really make some noise, to be a top-4 SEC team. I would still see Florida and probably Kentucky that's going to be better than them next year. But outside of that, they can really make a run, especially out of the teams in the SEC West. We all know it's one big division, but LSU can really stand out compared to a couple of those other SEC teams. Another thing, though, that Trent Johnson mentioned, and we'll get into it in just a second, Missouri and Texas A&M joined the conference, and both those schools have been consistent basketball programs, particularly Missouri and what the talent they have out there right now.
Update you on LSU baseball. They're up 13-0, batting in the bottom of the 8th. 3 more outs. The Tigers can get in the top of the 9th, and they will win that game against the Northwestern State Demons. Coach Trent Johnson also made some comments about the spring, about next season's returning players, and improvements that are needed on this basketball team. Yes, there's room for improvement. Hear what Coach Trent Johnson has to say.
We are injury-free in key positions, and one of those positions could be a kid like Justin, could be a kid like Johnny. I'm very confident, but also I understand the challenge in front of us. But the reason I'm so confident is because of what these guys experienced last night, but also what they experienced in the SEC tournament. I always talk about competing at a high level and having a good understanding of what that feels like. Well, they felt that against Kentucky, and a lot of them individually had never been there. But also, they understand that how hard it is to make the next step, and they also understand on a national level, on a local level, when you play well and you win, and then you struggle, it changes every week. And so your ability as a player and a person to stay locked into what's in the locker room, not what's been said on a national level, not what has been said. What's important is the grind, the process. And if you never lose sight of that, you're going to be as good as you can be. And these guys get it. I thought Anthony Hickey's comments when it was addressed to him about the fan support, I thought he said it with his heart. But you got to understand, this is a kid that's from Lexington, Kentucky, that area. So he sees a different fan base. But what he said wasn't coach speak. It was, you know what? All we need is each other. And when it ultimately is said and done, that's what sports is about. And these guys, they get it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of competitiveness in the spring. Malik Morgan is going to help this team in the worst way. Obviously we got some work to do in terms of trying to get 2 more guys in this basketball program, maybe 3. But we got to prove our athleticism, not our strength and our strength and conditioning, but not our size, but our athleticism. So, and it's not, my confidence doesn't come from my past in terms of everybody wants to take a look at what happened in Nevada, no, my confidence comes from what's in that locker room. But more than anything, it's something that you can't put on a fast forward, is you got to go through it. Your mental toughness, your physical toughness, you got to go through it. You got to go through it. I mean, it's hard for me to sit up and be critical of Justin Hamilton. I mean, nobody in this room, with the exception of maybe some of the coaches in that locker room, thought he could have the kind of year he had. But it was a grind now. It was a grind for him. Anthony Hickey, for him to be put in this situation. So the mental toughness aspect of all right, you're tired now because you lifted an hour in the morning and you had a 3 40-minute sessions of individual workouts, and it's the same old grind, but it's now more intensified. Are you going to come back in the gym, at 11 o'clock at night, and are you going to make 400 shots? Those kind of things. What does it mean to me? Again, I dwell on the finish. I always have. 5 out of 6 is what I dwell on. I don't care who we're playing. But I try to get them to understand that you were at 17, and you don't play for anybody else who's making preseason predictions. But that was a good number to be at, and it was on us to continue, and we didn't do that. So have we made progress by numbers? Yeah, we certainly did. And you can't deny that, Ben. You can't deny that. In terms of me, am I a guy that, say goes into this year, if we were going to win between 15 and 20? No, I don't never get caught up in that. I get caught up in that. Did we compete consistently from start to finish? We did, but we didn't finish the thing. We didn't finish the thing in terms of being able to sustain a level of intensity to win some games that could have put us in a better situation and have a better feel. So, from a numerical, well, yeah, you made some progress. But NIT is good for a lot of people. But I like the NCAA tournament, but probably more than the NCAA tournament, I like league championships. I like outright league championships. And that's what we play.
Anyway, kind of putting a wrap on the LSU basketball now for the men. I mean, we're going to get to the women in a minute, but yeah, as I said on radio and I've said on TV, it was a better team. There was improvement. You see the record, 18-15, 7-9 in conference play. They only had 3 wins last year in conference, 2 the year before that, so they topped a combination of the previous 2 years. Did have the nice win against Arkansas down in New Orleans at the SEC tournament. Played well against Kentucky. Kind of had a chance with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in that game. They could have had one more run in them. Maybe could have made some noise. And, of course, you saw Kentucky lose to Vanderbilt in the finals of the SEC tournament and had a struggle in the semifinals as well. So LSU, I think everything Coach Trent Johnson said, plus a need for some more consistency, and polish up a few things. A lot of young guys, and as legendary Coach Bob Knight said, it's the best thing that happens to college basketball freshmen.
What's that?
They become sophomores. So, that'll be.
Except at Kentucky.
Yeah, well, so that'll, yeah, good point. So that'll be something that I think will help LSU basketball. I think that things will be even better for LSU basketball next year. They got the kid Malik Morgan from the state championship team at John Curtis coming in to play at a guard position. Coach Johnson, you said he's got some recruiting commitments. You heard him say that. We'll get all of that for you. He'll have some more players, and we'll talk about that as we go forward. When we come back, we're going to talk a little women's basketball. The Lady Tigers, Nikki Caldwell, they got some NCAA tournament stuff to do. They're at number 5 seed. We'll talk about that and more when we return. This is Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, and streaming on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com.
This is Mo Isom of the LSU women's soccer team, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
Hello, my name is Debbie. Welcome to Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair.
Come see the many great lines we carry in bridal, bridesmaids, mothers, flower girls, tuxes, and more. We also carry over 25 top designer lines in debutante gowns, Mardi Gras, pageant, and prom. Come meet me and my staff with over 30 years of bridal and pageant experience. Debbie's Bridal, a formal affair, Burnside and Gonzales, where service matters.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
What did you do this week? That's just some of the fun things we do every week here at Space Camp. Get more information about our programs at spacecamp.com. I want you to come join our team.
Now is a great time to lock into buying a new home. Come buy our decorated model home in Greystone of Prairieville. We are starting the development of our second filing and offering builders special closeout pricing on the remaining homes in our first filing. No money down, and builders pay closing costs. For more information, visit our website at greystoneofprairieville.com. Come home to Greystone.
40 years, 4 decades, nearly half a century. That's how long the citizens of Greater Baton Rouge have chosen Richards Honda. A simple, sincere, and honest process.
Louisiana's oldest and most experienced Honda dealership for over 40 years, Richards Honda.
We cannot go any further without we're talking basketball. A lot of basketball tonight. Again, a great job by you and Alex Farr, former LSU round baller. He's done stuff with us on radio, TV. He's good, and we're going to have him again in the future. But we can't talk about basketball without talking about Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers.
How about
them? They are a 5 seed. They'll play in Baton Rouge Sunday evening. They'll play against San Diego State. The other 2 teams in the Baton Rouge first and second round, Texas El Paso and Penn State. So Nikki Caldwell's Lady Tigers, that'll be Sunday, March 18th. I want to say that's a 6:30 tip Baton Rouge time. But they 22-10 overall, 10-6 in conference play. Number 5 seed, that's a little higher than some people thought they might get, but I think they're 2 wins over Kentucky, who's one of the top teams in the nation, really, and the fact that they got to the finals of the SEC tournament where they did lose to Tennessee, as you see on your screen. But I think Coach Caldwell's team has a chance to get out of round 1 and 2, especially because the games will be in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center on the campus of LSU.
I think one thing that helped them was playing with Tennessee towards the bitter end, and their best player going out when the game was close. And LSU still fought to the bitter end of that one, and I'm used to able to college basketball blue blood like Tennessee and not fall to under the pressure and get absolutely crushed. Even though the scoreline says that LSU was with them to the bitter end, it all comes out of Lysandra Barrett's health. We know that she's probably going to try and dress out on Sunday night. If she can come out and her head is fine after her head injury against Tennessee, LSU's going to come out and get victory. But if Lysandra's not able to go, you got to watch out, because this team becomes really, really, really mediocre, because that is far and away their best player, the senior. She's done everything for them this year. I like the way Teresa Plaisant's been playing for LSU as of late, but the guard play for LSU has got to get better with Adrian Webb, Kenny, and the rest of the Tigers. Bianca Luckley has got to step up as well. Let's see if LSU, the guards, are going to have to trust. They're going to have to trust themselves to beat the San Diego Aztec team at 12 seed.
Well, and they got plenty of time to prepare for San Diego State, plenty of time to look at some game tape, get a scouting report, talk to people that have played them. I'm sure Nikki Caldwell, having been out on the West Coast at UCLA, she got somebody she can call out there that can give her a really good scouting report on San Diego State. And, of course, they'll get a good look at Penn State and Texas El Paso, who will play earlier that day at the PMAC. Again, I think with the fact that it's in Baton Rouge, all the time to prepare. Yes, Coach Caldwell's the new mom. I'm sure she's had a lot of mommy duties here lately, but I'm sure, knowing Nikki Caldwell that I've come to know, she's also putting in her basketball time that needs to be put in. And again, the Lady Tigers, might make some noise. We'll see. Like you say, need guard play. Another key player, we'll look at some of the stats. We saw the stats on Lysandra Barrett, Adrian Webb, also a key part of this basketball team. And you see her points per game, 24 steals, pretty good field goal percentage, pretty good free throw percentage for Adrian Webb.
Let's see what Adrian could do. Towards the back end of her career, it's always been that she always gets it going late. And she played well against Tennessee. She's gotten a little bit better towards the back end. The offense needs to go through her when it comes to taking big-time perimeter shots down the stretch. Let's see what Adrian Webb can do at the biggest stage for LSU.
And, of course, Courtney Jones also has been a key player for the Lady Tiger basketball team. 10 points a game, good field goal percentage. Free throw percentage, maybe you want that a notch better, but still good numbers for Courtney Jones.
Let's see what CJ can do. And it's not only her in the post. You also got to look at Swayze Black. She's going to have to play big. Plaisant, just mentioned her a minute ago. She's going to have to play big. The bigs for LSU have got to play big. I can't say it enough. They really need to rebound the basketball well. Lysandra's coming off an injury, so we'll see what LSU could do down low in the post. Courtney Jones, a big-time player for LSU. She has to really get on the boards, get a lot of putbacks, and extend possession for the Tigers.
All right, that's enough basketball for tonight for you, hopefully. And, of course, everybody will be enjoying the NCAA tournament, the brackets. Don't forget Pelican Sports Radio Monday through Friday from 3 to 4. Plenty of basketball talk there. We'll be updating some scores for you in case you're not in front of a TV and not tuned into anything. We'll have it for you during the course of the program tomorrow. We'll also speak to Ruffin Rodrigue of Rufino's Restaurant, Ken Trahan of SportsNola.com, part of the Thursday radio show as well. When we come back, we're going to do some baseball and softball and our weekly run through the LSU Athletic Department. And also, still to come tonight, didn't tease you about this yet, but I'm going to let you know now. Rock and roll as good as it gets. New Orleans' own Lillian Axe. We've got their, we have a release of their video that goes along with the single that was released off their new album, The Days Before Tomorrow. That's the 11th CD put out by Lillian Axe. You need to get your copy if you haven't done it yet. Today is 1 month that it's been released in the United States. Today, March 14th. So get your copy if you hadn't done it yet. It's at Best Buy, FYE. It's on iTunes, Amazon, Newberry Comics. You can get it. Lillian Axe, The Days Before Tomorrow. For more information, you see the website address on your screen, lillianaxe.com. That's AXE. I can tell you all about it right there. They're also on Facebook. You know the drill on all that stuff. And like I said, when we come back, we're going to play that video for you. It's some serious rock and roll. It's called Caged In. We'll tell you about that when we return. Carter Bryant, Tommy Chrysan. This is Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com.
I am Glenn Big Baby Davis, and you're watching Pelican Sports Television.
I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. The IRS has thousands of agents trained to understand it all. So don't trust an out-of-town salesperson. Come meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit will be free and confidential. If you're a Louisiana resident and have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney. Hire me, Kerry Bryson.
Hey, I'm Dr. Bob Benson. What's the difference between every other hair restoration method and NeoGraft? It's like comparing a musket to a sharpshooter's rifle. Old methods use a scalpel which scars the back of the head, but with NeoGraft there's no scarring because each tiny follicle is removed individually under local anesthesia. Walk in, walk out, natural hair restoration, no scarring. I waited 35 years for this technology and then I became a patient. Call us today for your free consultation.
Hey, everyone's eating tacos outside Bill's office. Don't you think that's some information I would like to know? I like tacos. You invited Eric? I thought Eric gave you the creeps. Oh. Yeah. Hey.
Don't be left behind. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network, is getting faster with 4G.
Now is a great time to lock into buying a new home. Come buy our decorated model home in Greystone of Prairieville. We are starting the development of our second filing and offering builders special closeout pricing on the remaining homes in our first filing. No money down, and builders pay closing costs. For more information, visit our website at greystoneofprairieville.com. Come home to Greystone.
Hey, we're back. My floor director, I couldn't see him with the glare. We're back on live TV, right? We're having fun on a Wednesday night. Appreciate you tuned in live each and every Wednesday from 8 to 10. Tigers Roar TV, spread the roar. If you're catching us Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you got a rebroadcast going, but that's cool, that's fine. And especially down in New Orleans, our friends at WHNO TV Channel 20 from 5 to 7 every Friday. They re-air this program, and that reaches the North Shore. Hammond, Ponchatoula, Amite, Kentwood, Covington, Mandeville, Bogalusa, Franklin, Slidell. It hits the Bayou Country, Thibodaux, Homer, Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne Parish, and the Mississippi Gulf Coast on Fridays from 5 to 7. Well, WHNO TV Channel 20 out in New Orleans. So, and of course, their Sports NOLA TV show precedes this every Wednesday at 7 p.m., hosted by Ken Trahan. Carter, we said we're going to go do this little video thing here. Lillian Axe from New Orleans. Got recently released 1 month ago in the United States. A CD had been released overseas and doing very well. They're going to get out on tour later this summer, but their single that they released from the new album, The Days Before Tomorrow, is called Caged In. Ooh. And it's all about, you know, sometimes in life you just feel like you're caged in and you want to get out, and, you know, you got this going on, and it might be work, it might be social, it might be personal, it might be whatever, you know, the job, and you feel caged in, and it's all about trying to get out. Well, it's a darn good rock and roll tune. I got the CD in my car. I've been listening to it for a month. I'm rocking every time I'm behind the wheel. It is really good stuff. So I want you to enjoy this video. Not a lot of people have seen this yet, so this is a special treat for you. It's called Caged In from Lillian Axe, a part of the new CD called The Days Before Tomorrow, which if you don't have a copy of it, you need to go get it. Enjoy.
You know, I'm 43. I was born in '68. Went from Black Sabbath all the way through to Him, Cradle of Filth, to Mooberger, all of them, man. Marilyn Manson, Motley Crue, and Lillian Axe, man, right there hanging with their underground. They're right here in New Orleans, and I can't stress this enough. New Orleans is such an unbelievably rare place, and to have a voice like from the underground here, people really need to get to see. Do yourself a favor. Go get yourself an Oxford or Harvard education for free on this guy. Research his lyrics and you got it. I'm telling you, he's opening minds here in this place.
There's a pressure mounting in my head. There's a mounting in my head. There's a pressure mounting in my head. There's a volcanic pressure mounting in my head. I'm a haven for everyone's bullshit. What a feeling. Raging. Draw conclusions, I don't care. You love the same things I despise. You're not my answer, no, 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 no. Case in, many more. Case in, many more. Case in, 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 case, many more.
Right? You ever feel caged in?
I do, and actually filling
out your bracket,
yeah,
maybe,
filling out
huh?
the bracket, I'm caged in. I'm just ready for all of it, just to let go. Sometimes you do feel caged in, but I can't say enough. One of my best friends in general, Chris, does a great job editing these videos, and everything we've pretty much done for Pelican Broadcasting. We're bringing Nick along right now. That's how we've done all these features. It's been on him. It's just been my ugly tail end getting torn up.
We need another Carter Bryant challenge.
We need another one soon. I need to get on the high dive, or I need to challenge Kevin Galston maybe in the fastball competition or something like that. Maybe something soon. But you can't say enough about Chris. You can't say enough about Lily Axe. I mean, that kind of music, not necessarily my type, but that right there, I mean, that song really does say a lot. And last week we had Mr. Blaze, and it was some good times.
We had Stevie Blaze right here on the program last week. No, I'm an old rock and roller, so I love that stuff. That's good. You know, different music. You know, a lot of folks like different music, but hey, that's good stuff.
There's nothing wrong with a good rock.
No, and again, if you hadn't got that copy of that CD yet, it's called The Days Before Tomorrow, Lily and Axe. Go get it. They're on Facebook. You see the website address, lilyanaxe.com. The Days Before Tomorrow, their single released was Caged In. You just saw the video on that. They'll be releasing another single soon. It's doing really well overseas and down in Australia. U.S. needs to pick it up a little bit, buy a few more copies of that album, and tell your friends about it. Again, it's at Best Buy, FYE, online at iTunes, Amazon, Newberry Comics. You can find it. Find them on Facebook, find their website. You can get all the information you need. If you know what you're doing on a computer, you can find it from Lily and Axe, Stevie Blaze, and company. They'll do a great, great job. Hey, it's the final score from Alex Box Stadium tonight. LSU 13, Northwestern State 0. Tigers had 12 hits, 1 error. Northwestern State shut out, no runs. So they did get 6 hits, but committed 4 errors. So a win for LSU. LSU baseball now 14-3 on the season. They did have a rain out Monday night against Notre Dame. That game, they were not against Notre Dame, but they'll try to add a game somewhere later in the schedule. They want to play the NCAA allotted 56 games. They did beat Michigan a couple times in the box. And now the W's and L's still counting a whole lot more. LSU begins Southeastern Conference play this weekend at the box, 7 o'clock Saturday, 7 o'clock Friday, let me get that right, 7 o'clock Friday, 6:30 Saturday, 1 o'clock Sunday. They'll host Mississippi State at the box. SEC play underway, 14-3 in the pre-non-conference schedule. There'll be some midweek non-conference games going forward, but LSU and Mississippi State, it all starts counting for conference numbers now.
Is Northwestern a bad team? Yes, they're pretty bad.
They're 5-11 now overall.
Yeah, so it's still good for LSU to get in a rhythm and get barrel on ball after just a one-run performance against Notre Dame over the weekend. I think the lineup is going to have to really carry this team. I mean, there's a shake-up in the pitching rotation. See Aaron Nola start the game off well for LSU tonight. Let's see if they can carry this momentum into the Bulldogs this weekend. And even though Mississippi State, they're not Florida, they're not Arkansas, they're not South Carolina, they're not Vanderbilt, they're an SEC team, and you're going to have to bring it. I think it's huge for LSU to play one of these lower-level SEC teams, at least, Tommy, at the very least, especially at home. Get 2 out of 3 this weekend. Just go out there, take care of business, get some Bulldogs, get at least 2 games out of 3, and the Tigers are going to be looking into pretty good shape going into tougher SEC play.
Ladies softball team, Lady Tigers softball team, Coach Beth Torina, as we know, in her first season, opened SEC play today with a doubleheader with Auburn. They won the first game tonight 4-1. They were beaten in the second game 2-0. through Saturday. That would be a final 2-0. So they split the doubleheader with Auburn. They got Mississippi State. Also, the softballers will play in Mississippi State. So go to the box, go to Tiger Park, do it both. LSU baseball and softball this weekend at home. And again, softball splits with Auburn. The doubleheader tonight, so they're now 1-1 in conference play with Mississippi State coming to town. Beth Tarina, I think that team's still trying to find themselves, but Ashley Langoni and Rachel Fico, some of those players are doing well for the Lady Tigers. You see some early numbers on Langoni.
She's clearly the best player on this team offensively. You see the just look at that 500 batting average, home run. She has the power. She's not that big. She's definitely someone you want to go out to Tiger Park and see before she leaves, the player out of Colorado there. And Rochelle Fico, you mentioned her a minute ago. She's
pitcher,
unbelievable player for LSU. Her and Brittany Mack make up one of the best 1-2 combos, not only in the SEC and in the country. You look at what they did against Auburn tonight. Once again, they're still trying to get their feet under them. This is a first-year head coach. Coaching is so much more important in softball than it is baseball because it is a lot of small ball. It is a lot of manufacturing runs. It is a lot of getting a lefty on a righty and righty on a lefty, hitting runs. So Beth is still getting that type of aggressive mentality installed into this LSU team that doesn't have that powerful lineup outside of Santos and Langoni. Let's see what they can do going forward in SEC play. They have the Bulldogs coming this weekend. And like in baseball, the Bulldogs, not an elite SEC team. They're not Alabama, they're not Florida, but they're a team that you have to beat in order to keep the pace in the Southeastern Conference.
It's conference games. I mean, you got to win your conference games.
You got to win them, especially at home.
No matter what the sport is. Good point, especially at home. When we come back, we'll take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. We've got a little golf, a little track and field, a little tennis to tell you about.
Tennis.
Don't go anywhere. Carter Bryant, Tommy Kreisand. Spread the roar about Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV every Wednesday night from 8 until 10 p.m. That's each and every Wednesday. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and streaming on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, I'm Doug Thompson, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV.
When you need to hire, you need to know about BetterBatonRougeJobs.com, BetterAcadianaJobs.com, and NewOrleansJobsList.com. We have a faster, more affordable way to find and hire employees. Now you can save even more with this special offer from Pelican Sports TV. Post your jobs on any of these sites and use the promo code Pelican Sports to save an additional $25. Find qualified applicants and save money too with promo code Pelican Sports. And remember, we're free for job seekers and great for Louisiana business.
For the thirsty, for those who hang out in packs, for heroes, for sidekicks, for those who see the glass half empty, for those who see it half full, for those on the right, for those on the left, for those with nicknames, for those with curves, for people that cycle, for people that recycle, for BFFs, for frenemies, for those with style, for lovers, for families, for big families, for everyone.
What did you do this week? That's just some of the fun things we do every week here at Space Camp. Get more information about our programs at spacecamp.com. I want you to come join our team.
Attention, all companies dealing with cash flow problems. Companies are going out of business every day. Bankruptcies are at an all-time high. Accounts receivable delinquencies are at the highest levels in decades. Let us help your business collect money owed to your business. NRH and Associates has the solutions. Let NRH and Associates utilize their innovative collection methods to get cash flow back into your business. Call 601-889-0501. That number again, 601-889-0501.
We continue with Tigers Roar here on Pelican Sports TV. Carter Bryant, Tommy Kreisand with you. Again, we thank Alex Farr for being here back in hour number one with a lot of basketball stuff for you. Former LSU basketball player, guy's very good at what he does. Already has his master's degree, he was telling us before. I
wish I was that smart.
I don't have a master's degree. I got the regular degree, but I don't have the master's. Hey, let's take our weekly run through the LSU athletic department. Men's golf. Good action. They win their second team title, a 3-day total of 4 under at the Argent Financial Classic. You see the individual scores there. Men's golf continuing to do well. They win their second team title for the Tiger golf team. And the women's golf team had a second place finish at the Tiger Golf Classic. The Lady Tigers finished 2 strokes behind Tennessee. That was a really good match down the stretch. I remember reading about it. Coach Karen Bonson's team, you see Coach Bonson there. Austin Ernst, the defending NCAA medalist, 2 over par on the 3 rounds. For LSU, Madeline Sagstrom was the medalist for LSU, even par 76
Dang,
at
tough
the Tiger
course
Classic.
right
Well, University Club, that's a tough one, no doubt. So tip of the hat to them. LSU track and field. I mean, every week we do the run through the LSU athletic department, and Kimberlyn Duncan's name comes up. She defends her title in the indoor 200 meter dash. Track record 22.74 seconds. Kimberlyn Duncan, I mean, I hope she's got a big trophy case because she gets a lot of them.
And I've said it time in and time out, in my opinion, won't change. She's the best spring athlete at LSU, and it's not really close. She dominates in all the events. LSU has a strong track and field program, and she leads the way. I think she's the best player on this year's team. Now that Walter Hennings graduated, the former thrower for LSU, she can really do it all, and she's quite a treat to watch in person. And more importantly, she's just a good person. We got to interview her. She's a Pelican Sports alum as well, so it's always fun to see her go out there and just blaze away the opponents. It's always entertaining to see her run.
She does one of those Pelican drops. You see, we call them a drop, a little 10-second when you hear her say, hey, I'm Kimberlyn Duncan, and you're watching Pelican Sports TV. We saw Glenn Big Baby Davis. We saw Troy Landry from Swamp People. We've got Doug Thompson, former LSU player, Mo Isom. We got Miss Louisiana, Miss Teen Louisiana. We have these little drops, just getting used to look at some celebrities and outstanding student athletes, what they do. Giving you a little Pelican drop, that's what we call it. Hey, Carter, I know you want to give a big shout out to the men's tennis team. They got a huge match coming up against number 2 ranked Ohio State. Tell everybody about it, when it is, what time, and some good special treats available too.
Always go on LSUsports.net and check out their schedule. They have a big one coming up against the Ohio State Buckeyes, a team that's I'm not going to lie, they're probably going to come in and beat them. I think LSU Tennessee, they don't have the firepower last year. I think they lost some big players. They lost Julian Gatte and Sebastian Carlson. They still have Oliver Bursos. They still have Cez, the Australian star that they have, and Neil Skupski, the pride of Liverpool, England. They're going to have to bring it against Ohio State. That's a couple days from now on the 19th. They're going to have free pizza, a lot of giveaways. So go out to Dub Robinson Stadium. And the best part about it, the one thing I like about the LSU tennis program is that it's free. And you also get the biggest bang for your buck. There's 9 matches that you're able to see. There's 3 doubles matches and 6 singles matches. They're all intense. And also, you can yell at the opponent between points. That's where it gets intense, and that's where crowds can really play a big role into it. I remember during my freshman year when a player for, I believe, Alabama got into it, I think, because I just said, you're no good or something like that. Don't put down on the opponents like I did. I almost got kicked out of the event. You are able to yell and really have a good time there at Dub Robinson. It's a hostile environment, a solid team, and they need everything they can get against the Big Ten and the Buckeyes.
Well, Ohio State's ranked number 2, so that'll be Monday, March 19th at 3 p.m. at the Dub Robinson Tennis Facility. If you want to get on out there, free pizza, free T-shirts, and go watch some outstanding collegiate tennis. Hey, we're going to come back and put a final wrap on this week's edition of Tigers Raw. We'll talk a little football, a little NCAA basketball for you, kind of wrap it up, a few housekeeping announcements. We'll do it all for you when we return. With Carter Bryant, I'm Tommy Christ, and this is Tigers Raw on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hi, I'm Kimberlyn Duncan from the 2011 track and field team, and you are watching Pelican Sports TV.
Hey, where you can expect to find the best pre-owns right here at North American Auto on Airline in Gonzales. Folks, every car comes with a warranty. Cars, trucks, SUVs, you name it, we got it. Get pre-approved, brcarcredit.com. Folks, don't you leave till you see me.
One of the key attributes that really puts Papa John's Pizza over the top is our meats. Nobody does what Papa John's does.
For just $11, get our new double-layered premium pepperoni pizza, loaded with a layer of our signature pepperoni, plus a layer of oversized deli-style pepperoni. Just $11 for a large. Plus, get double points all weekend long and earn free pizza fast with Papa Rewards, only at papajohns.com. Sign up now.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
I'm attorney Kerry Bryson. An IRS problem is a serious legal matter. The IRS has thousands of agents trained to understand it all. So don't trust an out-of-town salesperson. Come meet with us in person at our office right here in Baton Rouge. Your first visit will be free and confidential. If you're a Louisiana resident and have an IRS problem, hire a Louisiana attorney. Hire me, Kerry Bryson.
When you need to hire, you need to know about BetterBatonRougeJobs.com, BetterAcadianaJobs.com, and NewOrleansJobsList.com. We have a faster, more affordable way to find and hire employees. Now you can save even more with this special offer from Pelican Sports TV. Post your jobs on any of these sites and use the promo code Pelican Sports to save an additional $25. Find qualified applicants and save money too with promo code Pelican Sports. And remember, we're free for job seekers and great for Louisiana business.
Hey, you expecting a refund and want a new car? Come to North American Automotive Group on Airline. We make it easy. Bring your W-2, file your taxes, use it towards your down payment, and drive home today. North American Auto on Airline.
Final segment here on a Wednesday night, Tigers Roar, bringing it at you each and every Wednesday on Pelican Sports TV. If you're watching this on a Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, you got a rebroadcast going, but that's cool. Don't forget Pelican Sports Radio, Monday through Fridays from 3 to 4 p.m. on KKAY, 1590 AM on your radio dial. Streams on the internet at globalradio.kkay.com. Also, there's a free app for your smartphone. Download TuneIn. I got it on the BlackBerry. You can listen wherever you're at. The free app on TuneIn. That's Pelican Sports Radio, Monday through Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. on KKAY 1590 AM on your radio dial. Please help spread the word about that program for us. Carter, spring football will return to the practice field a Thursday and a Saturday this week. They had a Tuesday workout in full pads. Again, you know, we talked about this on the radio. You're not going to get a whole lot on the spring practice reports, if you will. You're not going to get a lot of information. You might say, oh, so-and-so looked good today, or, oh, they said Mettenberger didn't throw real good on Tuesday. That's Mettenberger, number 8 in the green shirt. For those of you that might not know, that's Rivers, the backup, number 17. So we got a little clips from a couple weeks ago out of that's Gerard Randall, number 15, I believe that was. And then a little look at the Big Cat drill. We kind of looked at this last week. But you're not going to get a lot, Carter, out of spring practice. But it's a learning session. It's a learning curve. It's for players to learn coaches. You got a couple of new coaches on the staff with Adam Henry and Corey Raymond. So you got a little learning. Players got to learn coaches. Coaches got to learn players. And the younger guys are getting more reps now. That's what spring practice is all about.
And we're going to see what we're going to get out of the LSU offensive line. That's a group that we talked about on Pelican Sports Radio earlier today, Tommy, and Josh Jurasic. It's going to take him a while to get his feedback from under him. He suffered a bad injury last year. Was probably forced into action a little bit too quick, and that's why he got knocked out the rest of the season. So he needs to get his feedback under him. You look at Lyle Collins. He's a guy that we have to look out for, a guy that could sneak into either guard or tackle spot across the line. He has all the talent. He was a 5-star recruit. He was a guy, the only one that could block Jadeveon Clowney at the All-American week, at the Under Armour All-American game before he came to LSU. Him and Vidal Alexander are both talented offensive linemen waiting for their chance to step on the football field.
Well, and the spring game is going to be Saturday, March 31st, 12:30 in Tiger Stadium. They're going to have a little ceremony to honor and applaud the SEC championship from last year. But the other thing that people are going to be looking for in the spring game, number one, they're going to want to see Zach Mettenberger. They want to see number 8 throw the football, want to see everything about him, on the field, off the field, how he gets on the field, in the huddle, out the huddle, handing off. He'll get a lot of attention. But as you said, Carter, there's some other things that have to be looked at as well. The offensive line, the wide receiver position, some defense. There's going to be a lot to be looked at after not just Zach Mettenberger at these spring games.
All right, and next week on Tigers Roar, I'm going to share with you who I think the best offensive player for LSU is going to be for the Tigers. And he's actually a guy that you just watched on the screen. You just couldn't point him out because he's pretty short. So I'm going to share with you next week on Tigers Roar who is the best player.
You're teasing us again. You're good at that.
Well, yeah, the best offensive player for LSU.
You come out on the radio Tuesday and say, I'm going to tell you how to pick your bracket Wednesday. You'll make everybody wait a day.
Well, yeah, I'm going to let everyone wait a week going into the spring game. I'm going to share with you who is the best player, the most consistent player, and who's going to be the most productive player for the LSU offense next season.
Yeah, and expectations will be high for LSU football as always. There'll be a whole long list of polls that'll come out, and LSU is going to be in the top 2 or 3. And mostly you see a little excitement there in the Big Cat drill. Some people call that the Nutcracker. They call it the Bears. Ego Ferguson, number 9. Boy, that guy's gotten big since he got on campus, huh?
Big. Yeah, Ego's going to have to play next year. He's another guy who we mentioned earlier on the defensive line.
He's going to be some snaps this year.
Yeah, he's going to be right behind Benny Logan and Anthony Johnson, and he very well could start over the Freak. So we're going to see how it turns out. Those are your 3 top defensive tackle candidates. Mickey Johnson, of course, he didn't practice today, but he's also a guy that you have to look out for. Big number 96 for LSU.
That's the new defensive back coach, Corey Raymond from New Iberia, who played at LSU 6 years in the NFL. Was actually part of the LSU coaching staff as an assistant strength coach back in '07 when they won a national title. So he's got a feel for Coach Miles. He's already had purple and gold in his blood because he played at LSU back, I want to say, 88 to 91 before 3 years with the Giants, 3 years with the Lions in the NFL. So I know he's looking forward to working with the defensive backs. And the early reports I've gotten on Corey Raymond is, I mean, he's a technician, and I mean, this guy's going to do wonders for a talented secondary. He's going to help them maximize their performance.
And it's not only guys like Craig Lawson, who you saw a minute ago. You see Dale Simon right there. It's guys like Tyrann Mathieu and Eric Reed. Are they going to get better after their unbelievable productive seasons? I can't wait to see what Corey Raymond could do. It's going to be a little bit different than Ron Cooper, but Corey Raymond, a lot of playing experience, 6-year player in the NFL. He's definitely going to make Tyrann and Eric even better tackle football players.
No question about that. All right, so we're going to kind of put a wrap on this thing, Carter, the NCAA tournament. I know they had the play-in games last night and tonight. I still can't call that the first round. I mean, it's all semantics, I know, and it's all about what you think. But the tournament, for all intent and purposes, as we all know it, starts tomorrow. Just, games all day Friday. We'll have updates on Pelican Sports Radio between 3 and 4 for everybody. But I know a lot of people are going to be paying attention to it, including you and me, and I know Alex Farr will be checking it out as well.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at Pelican Sports. You can follow me at Carter the Power and be watching basketball all day long. Let us know your thoughts on the tournament, who's going to go to the Final Four. I mean, just let us know. It's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of breakdown throughout the next week or so, and it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a fun ride, and keep in mind, the Final Four concludes in New Orleans. It won't be it'll be in the Superdome. They'll probably have some other activities in the arena surrounding the Final Four weekend. I know you're going. I know you're excited about it. I'll have the TV on for all of that, and I'll have tabs on it. We'll get reports from you and whatnot from New Orleans on that. With the Final Four being in New Orleans, it'll be a great weekend in the city. That's March 31st. That Saturday will be the semifinals. Of course, that's the day of the LSU spring game. LSU baseball hosts Arkansas at the box that night. So always sports going on. Always something on Pelican Sports TV and Pelican Sports Radio. Well, Carter, again, we want to thank Alex Farr for coming by, sitting in a couple segments tonight. Super job you and he did on the NCAA bracket. Again, I got Michigan State winning it all.
Spartan pride, baby. I'm
thinking about. You won't tell me yet?
Well, I'm still deciding.
Figuring it out.
I'm still deciding. I like it.
You got to decide by 11 o'clock tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
You can't wait till after they throw the ball up and tip.
Well, I take my time in the pocket. I let the coverage develop, and right now I have no pressure.
You better text me before 11 a.m. who's going to win the national title. So I know that you did it before they started.
All right, we'll see what happens.
I want to be looking for that text. I want to thank Chris. Don't forget Lillian Axe's new CD, Today is Before Tomorrow. On behalf of everybody at Pelican Broadcasting, have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you next Wednesday on Tigers Roar.